Hello, fellow YouTubers, truth seekers, and Mandela Affected. I'm Darkwolf, and this is Darkwolf's Den. I'd like to welcome everybody for stopping by. We really appreciate having you. Today we're going to do something, start a new series that's kind of been needed in the community for a long time. So the reason I decided to do this, I've been studying this phenomenon for almost 3 years. And I'll be honest with you, I'm just as confused now as I was then. We've come up with a lot of great ideas as a community and shared a lot of notes. And there's a lot of people that are just now getting into the Mandela Effect. And they want to know what in the world's going on. We have our own language sometimes. What do all these words mean? So I decided to make a beginner's guide because I felt that I was overlooking something in my research. So I decided to go back and break down all the concepts dealing with this effect or this phenomenon. And hopefully this will be just as useful to new people getting into the phenomenon as it will to seasoned researchers like myself. So I am going to be kind of reading off some notes here. I'll be honest with you, so this won't be as laid back as usual. This will be a little bit more, formal, if you will. So we'll be covering a lot of things across the next set of videos. What are the shifts or shifting? What is shifting? What are changes? What are personal Mandela effects? What are flip-flops? What are anchor memories? What in the world is the 1% rule? And what does ear ringing have to do with anything? Well, we'll go across a lot of stuff in this guide, so stick with me for the next couple of videos, guys. And like I said, I hope this helps you out just as much as it's helped me out to break down these concepts. So starting up with the 1% rule. This isn't necessarily something you're going to hear in the community. This is more something I've been pushing, but it stands for pretty much any paranormal activity that you're researching. And it basically states that if 99% of the evidence can be explained away, and even if we can explain away everything down to one piece of evidence, that's still evidence of something changed in the past. And to me, that's something. So we find a way to explain 99% of the changes. If 1% is left, or even if one thing has been changed in history, that is still evidence of an unexplained phenomenon, and it validates the Mandela Effect. This rule applies to any paranormal phenomenon. Next, we have confabulation. This has become considered a slur almost in the ME community. This is the idea that everyone experiencing the phenomenon are accidentally making up their memories. Oops. This explanation fails to take into account the fact that all the accidental memories, fails to take into the account that all the accidental memories are matching. Every single one are matching. Everybody remembers Jiffy, Jiffy, not Jiffie or some other set of letters. We all remember the exact same false memory, which is one reason that I don't think is confabulation. That's just my personal take. Anyway, people have mentioned, regardless of age, race, color, nationality, etc., despite having compared notes, everybody's memory matches. My previous work on this channel has proven this concept to be completely false. You will most likely encounter this in any mainstream explanation of the phenomena that you find, at least so far. Next, we have the ear ringing. So a large majority of the community seems to share this trait, oddly. It's not 100%. However, the great majority of the community experience a very loud, high-pitched, sometimes persistent ringing of the ears, either one or both. It is highly unlikely that the entire group worldwide just happen to have tinnitus, which is an uncontrollable ringing of the ears due to medical issues. I personally have always had moments in my life where my ear, either side, would go deaf, and I mean just go completely deaf, and then ring back in at a very, very high-pitched frequency. It has been surmised by many that this is connected to the downloads. If you don't know what that is, that was covered in my previous video on this channel also. It has been surmised by many that this is connected to the downloads, although more evidence is needed to make a proof positive claim. It has also been suggested that the ringing indicates that a shift is in progress. Again, more evidence is needed to make a proof positive claim. The next is the Schumann resonance. This is something I didn't even know about until I found the Mandela Effect. And a lot of people don't until they find this. And the reason they talk about it will become evident in just a moment. This is the natural frequency of the Earth. And the human frequency is directly tied to this, to the point that without it, we get sick. There's been issues with astronauts and actually had to put a Schumann resonance box on the space shuttle just so the astronauts would be able to do what they had to do in space. It has a very distinct effect on both our bodies and our minds. For literally thousands of years, it stayed at a regular 7.8 hertz. In the last few years, it has become extremely abnormal. Many surmise that this hints. Oh, wow, my writing is horrible sometimes. Many surmise that this may be related to the ME, whether directly or indirectly. So that's the Schumann resonance. There's also a place online you can go. I'll try to remember to drop the link in the description box below. It's called heartmath.org. And they have a site set up where they've been monitoring the Schumann resonance, the collective conscious, solar winds, and all kind of other charts on there. So definitely check that out if you are more interested. And like I said, I will try to remember to drop a link in the description below. Next up, we have synchronicities. So this is huge in the community. These are odd instances where something happens that makes you question the odds of it happening. For instance, the classic example is when you suddenly start thinking of a person you haven't talked to in years, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, the phone rings, and it's them. Very synchronous. That's considered a synchronicity. Things of an incredibly synchronous nature seem to happen more often to those that have been affected by this phenomenon. These are a lot of times referred to as messages from God or even universal signposts. Ironically enough, this used to be more than commonplace for me on the daily, almost the hourly occurrence. And since the Mandela Effect, for me, it's flipped and actually become a whole lot less consistent for me. I only get synchronicities now when it's something bigger going on. All right. Let me know in the comments if you've been experiencing a lot of synchronicities, especially as of late. I'd really like to hear about that. All right. Next, we have subtleties. This is something that drives a Mandela Effect researcher absolutely batty. This is probably one of the things that makes the whole phenomenon the most difficult to deal with in terms of the evidence, whether trying to explain examples or trying to explain the phenomenon in general. Most of the changes are extremely subtle, like an E changing to an A, i.e. Berenstein to Berenstain. These changes are just enough to make us question not only our own memories, but our own sanity. A lot of the changes are just extremely subtle. The word "the" to "a", the word "is" to "was". Things that you could almost say you misheard, but you know better. Things like that. Again, the Berenstain thing totally got me. Like, got it. I'm hooked. I know better. I know what it was. I learned reading on those books. I know. Anyway, I'm not here to convince you of that. I'm really here to explain these concepts. Next, we have shifts in shifting. So what in the world is a shift, and what is shifting? This is a Mandela Effect term used to refer to a series of changes in reality, or Mandela effects. This comes from the belief in the community that we are literally being shifted to alternate timelines, or at least our consciousness. Whether we are doing it on purpose or accidentally, or if it's something that's been happening forever or recently, that's still debated in the community. However, it is believed that we are shifting between timelines by some nature. This is also fueled by the evidence of people's personality seemingly changing literally overnight, which I personally experienced within my circle of friends in 2008. As far-fetched as this may sound, there is solid evidence in quantum mechanics and quantum theory to back up this idea. For more information, please check the other videos on this channel, as we go into a lot more depth in a lot of these concepts as far as the quantum mechanics side of it and the scientific side of it in the theory series, if you're interested in that. And that is the end of part 1 of this video series. I'd like to thank everybody who's stuck around so far. I will be going further and further, a little bit more advanced concepts. The next one will be all about changes. I've already got it set up and ready to record. So I look forward to seeing you guys in the next round. So we have an announcement, just like at the end of the last video we announced. YouTube pulled our advertising from the channel. We can no longer monetize, and that's okay. When we get to the point where we can monetize again, we're not gonna. No more ads, none. We have a different way to support this channel. If you would like to help support the channel, you can do so by sending donations in cryptocurrency. We accept Bitcoin, LiteCoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash. We thank everybody for sticking around. This has been Darkwolf, and remember, stay awake, but dare to dream. Bye, everybody.